With a contented sigh, Aika strolled along the bustling streets of Heliodor, her senses alive with the sights, sounds, and smells of the vibrant city. The aroma of freshly baked bread wafted through the air, intermingling with the earthy scent of damp cobblestones. As she walked, Aika couldn't help but marvel at the diversity of the city's inhabitants. Merchants haggled with customers over the price of goods, street performers entertained passers-by with their music and antics, and children chased each other through the narrow alleyways, their laughter echoing off the ancient stone walls. Every corner seemed to hold a new wonder, from the ornate fountains that adorned the city squares to the colorful tapestries that hung from the balconies above. Aika found herself drawn to the bustling marketplace, where vendors from far and wide peddled their wares beneath colorful canopies. She browsed the stalls, admiring the intricate handiwork of the artisans, and sampling exotic fruits and spices from distant lands. Everywhere she turned, there was something new and fascinating to discover, each experience adding to the tapestry of her memories. As the sun began to dip below the horizon, casting long shadows across the dirt roads, Aika reluctantly tore herself away from the vibrant bustle of the city. With a wistful glance back at the lively marketplace, she made her way towards the entrance of the underground tunnels that had become both her sanctuary and her greatest challenge. With each step, her anticipation grew, the familiar thrill of adventure coursing through her veins. She had faced many trials in the depths below, but she knew that her journey was far from over. With a determined set to her jaw, Aika descended once more into the darkness, ready to confront whatever dangers lay ahead. As she ventured deeper into the labyrinthine tunnels, the air grew thick with the scent of damp earth and ancient stone. The faint glow of torches lined the walls, casting eerie shadows that danced and flickered in the dim light, evoking a sense of familiarity tinged with an underlying unease. With each twist and turn of the winding passages, Aika's heart pounded in her chest, her senses on high alert for any sign of danger. Though she navigated these familiar tunnels before, the memory of the hidden traps and dangers lurking in the shadows kept her vigilant. Despite the darkness and the potential hazards that lay ahead, she felt a sense of exhilaration unlike anything she had ever known, spurred on by the thrill of adventure and the promise of discovery. She moved cautiously, her footsteps echoing softly against the damp stone walls. The faint glow of torches lining the corridor flickered ominously, casting eerie shadows that danced and swayed with each movement. As she pressed on, Aika's keen eyes scanned every inch of the passageway, searching for any telltale signs of danger. The memory of the pressure plate that had sent her tumbling into the depths of the dungeon flashed through her mind, a stark reminder of the perils that awaited her in the darkness. Her heart raced with anticipation as she approached the area where the floor tile had given way beneath her feet. With cautious steps, she edged closer, her senses on high alert for any hidden traps. To her relief, she found no more traps lurking in the shadows, and she approached the hole with newfound confidence. With careful precision, Aika lowered herself down into the darkness below, mindful of her footing this time, to avoid any mishaps. The cool air of the underground tunnels enveloped her as she descended, the faint glow of torches illuminating the way ahead. As she made her way deeper into the labyrinthine passages, Aika couldn't help but feel a sense of excitement building within her. Despite the dangers that lurked in the shadows, she was filled with an insatiable curiosity and a thirst for adventure, driving her onward into the unknown. With each step, the memories of her previous journey through these tunnels flooded back to her, the challenges she had faced, the obstacles she had overcome, and the friendship she had forged along the way with the gigantic golem. Aika couldn't help but smile as she recalled their unlikely alliance, born out of necessity, in the depths of the dungeon. The memory of the golem's gentle demeanor and unwavering loyalty filled her with a sense of warmth and gratitude. Despite their differences in size and strength, they had formed an unbreakable bond, navigating the treacherous dungeon together and emerging victorious against all odds. As Aika descended further into the darkness, the air grew heavy with the stench of decay and rot, a grim reminder of the battles she had fought and the monsters she had vanquished. The walls of the tunnel were lined with the skeletal remains of creatures long dead, their bones picked clean by scavengers or left to crumble into dust. Aika couldn't help but notice the advanced state of decay of the creatures' remains. It puzzled her, she had only been away from the dungeon for a short time, yet the decay seemed far more advanced than she would have expected. Was time passing differently within the confines of the underground labyrinth, unbeknownst to her? The thought sent a shiver down her spine, adding an extra layer of unease to her already fraught journey. With cautious steps, Aika retraced her path through the labyrinthine tunnels, her senses on high alert for any signs of danger. The air grew heavier with the stench of decay and rot as she ventured deeper into the darkness, a grim reminder of the battles she had fought and the monsters she had vanquished. Despite the eerie atmosphere, Aika pressed on, her determination unwavering. With her short sword at her side and the small round shield securely strapped to her back, she moved carefully, ready to defend herself against any lurking threats. As she approached the chamber where she had discovered the golem previously, Aika's heart quickened with anticipation. The walls of the chamber loomed tall around her, adorned with intricate carvings that seemed to pulse with an otherworldly glow in the dim light. As Aika drew closer to the center of the room, memories of her previous encounter with the golem flooded her mind. She remembered vividly the remarkable sight of the golem awakening from its slumber, the ground trembling beneath her feet as it rose from the rubble with a deafening roar. Though the memory still sent a shiver down her spine, she couldn't help but feel a sense of awe at the sheer power and majesty of the creature. But amid the awe, there was also a pang of sadness, a reminder of her missing friend, the one who had led her to safety in the first place. The memory of his disappearance weighed heavily on her heart, a constant reminder of the dangers that lurked within the depths of the dungeon. Yet, as she glanced down at the gem nestled safely in her pack, she felt a glimmer of hope. Though her friend may be gone for now, a part of him still remained with her, a comforting presence in the darkness. Pushing aside her melancholy thoughts, Aika focused her attention on the chamber around her. She had left in haste during her last visit. As she searched the chamber, her keen eyes caught sight of something out of place, a faint outline of a door hidden among the carvings on the wall. With a sense of excitement, Aika approached, her fingers tracing the ancient runes etched into the stone. With a gentle push, the door swung open, revealing a dark passage that led deeper into the depths of the dungeon. Heart pounding with anticipation, Aika took a deep breath and stepped through the threshold, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead in her quest for answers and adventure. As Aika stepped through the hidden door, she found herself in a vast, cavernous chamber that seemed to stretch on endlessly into the darkness. The air was heavy with the scent of damp earth and ancient stone, and a chill ran down her spine as she gazed out into the gloom. Before her lay a massive stone bridge, its weathered surface worn smooth by centuries of wind and rain. The bridge stretched out before her like a thread of silver in the darkness, disappearing into the shadows beyond. Aika couldn't help but marvel at the sheer scale of the structure, wondering who could have built such a marvel and for what purpose. As she ventured further onto the bridge, she couldn't shake the feeling of awe that washed over her. The stone beneath her feet felt solid and sturdy, yet she couldn't help but feel a sense of trepidation as she looked down into the abyss below. Far beneath the bridge, she could see the ruins of small homes scattered along the rocky cliffs, their crumbling walls hinting at a forgotten civilization that once thrived in the depths of the planet. The sound of rushing water echoed through the chamber, drawing Aika's gaze over the side of the bridge where a narrow stream flowed gently beneath her feet. The water sparkled in the dim light, casting dancing shadows on the walls of the cavern as it meandered its way through the darkness. As she leaned over the edge of the bridge, peering down into the depths below, Aika couldn't help but wonder about the creatures that once called this place home. Were they human, or something else entirely? And what secrets lay hidden within the ancient stones of the bridge itself? Lost in thought, Aika continued her journey across the bridge, the mysteries of the underground world swirling around her like shadows in the darkness. As Aika made her way across the bridge, her footsteps echoed softly against the ancient stone, filling the cavern with a haunting melody. With each step, she felt a sense of reverence for the forgotten civilization that had once inhabited this place, their lives now lost to the mists of time. As she reached the midpoint of the bridge, Aika paused to take in the breathtaking view that spread out before her. To her left and right, the rocky cliffs rose up like silent sentinels, their jagged peaks disappearing into the darkness above. Below, the stream continued its steady journey, disappearing into the depths of the earth with a whispering murmur. As Aika gazed upon the towering cliffs that rose up around her, a sense of familiarity washed over her. The tall towers reminded her of the castle towers that dotted the skyline of Heliodor, casting their watchful gaze over the bustling city below. The resemblance was uncanny, and Aika couldn't help but wonder if the same ancient people who had built the structures above had also been responsible for the creation of the bridge and the ruins that surrounded it. It was a tantalizing thought, one that filled her with a sense of awe and wonder at the ingenuity of those who had come before her. Lost in her musings, Aika nearly missed the faint glow emanating from the far end of the bridge. Suddenly, she snapped out of her reverie, realizing she had lingered too long. With a determined nod, she resumed her journey, her footsteps echoing against the ancient stone as she ventured deeper into the underground world. Lost in the beauty of her surroundings, Aika felt a pang of longing for the world above, a world filled with sunlight and laughter, far removed from the shadows that now enveloped her. But even as she yearned for the warmth of the surface, she knew that her journey lay here, in the heart of the underground, where secrets waited to be uncovered and mysteries begged to be solved. With a sense of determination, Aika continued on her journey, her eyes fixed on the horizon ahead. Though the path before her was shrouded in darkness, she knew that with each step she took, she drew closer to the truth, closer to the answers she sought. As she pressed on, the shadows seemed to deepen around her, wrapping her in their embrace like a cloak. Yet despite the darkness that surrounded her, Aika felt a glimmer of hope flicker within her heart, a spark of courage that would guide her through the trials that lay ahead. The dark corridors stretched endlessly before her, the only sound her echoing footsteps against the cold, damp stone floor. Aika pressed on, her determination unwavering, as she delved deeper into the heart of the underground labyrinth. Occasionally, a faint glow would illuminate her path, casting eerie shadows that danced and flickered along the walls. These fleeting moments of light offered brief reprieves from the oppressive darkness, but they also served as reminders of the mysterious forces at play in this hidden world. As she journeyed deeper into the depths, Aika couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. The shadows seemed to twist and contort, taking on sinister shapes that lurked just beyond the reach of the visible light. Yet she refused to let fear consume her, pushing forward with unwavering resolve. At long last, Aika emerged into a vast chamber, the air thick with the scent of age-old secrets and long-forgotten mysteries. The room was illuminated by the soft glow of ancient runes etched into the walls, their meaning lost to the passage of time. In the center of the chamber stood a towering pedestal, upon which rested a shimmering artifact, a relic of unimaginable power and untold significance. Aika approached cautiously, her heart pounding with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. As Aika approached the towering pedestal, her eyes widened with wonder and curiosity. The artifact resting upon it shimmered with an otherworldly glow, casting ethereal shadows that danced across the chamber walls. With each step she took, her heart pounded louder in her chest, a mixture of excitement and trepidation coursing through her veins. As she reached out to touch the artifact, 1,000 questions raced through her mind. Could this be another friend, another golem like the one she had encountered before? Why was there a pedestal in the middle of this abandoned underground cavern, and what purpose did it serve? The mysteries of this hidden world seemed to grow with each passing moment, and Aika couldn't help but feel drawn to uncovering the truth. With a sense of determination, she tentatively reached out, her fingers trembling as they made contact with the artifact's smooth surface. As she did, a surge of energy pulsed through her, sending shivers down her spine. It was as if the artifact itself was alive, resonating with power and potential beyond her wildest dreams. As Aika's trembling fingers made contact with the artifact's smooth surface, a surge of energy pulsed through her, sending shivers down her spine. But before she could comprehend what was happening, a sudden burst of light erupted from her backpack, illuminating the chamber in a blinding cascade of colors. Horror seized Aika's heart as she watched in disbelief as rays of light shot out from her pack in all directions, casting eerie shadows that danced across the chamber walls. With trembling hands, she ripped the pack from her shoulders, throwing it to the ground as if it were aflame. But to her astonishment, the pack didn't fall to the ground, it hovered in the air, suspended by some unseen force. Aika's eyes widened in disbelief as she watched the pack levitate before her, the golem's heart slithering out from the top like a serpent, bathed in an otherworldly shimmer. The light emanating from the pack grew more intense by the second, nearly blinding Aika as she shielded her eyes from its brilliance. Then, without warning, the gem shot into the sky like a comet, streaking towards the pedestal with alarming speed. Aika gasped in shock as she watched the jewel hurtle towards the artifact, her mind racing with fear and confusion. But just before it made contact, the gem abruptly halted in midair, hovering above the pedestal as if held back by an invisible force. At the same moment, the gem on the pedestal began to glow with an intensity that matched the light emanating from the pack. Slowly, almost hesitantly, the gem lifted from its resting place, hovering in the air beside the gem of her friend Golem as if drawn by some unseen magnetism. For a moment, the two gems floated in perfect harmony, circling each other like celestial dancers in the night sky. Then, with a blinding flash of light and a deafening roar, they collided, merging into a single, radiant orb that fell to the ground with a soft thud. Aika stood frozen in place, her mind reeling from the spectacle she had just witnessed. What had just happened? What did it all mean? As she stared at the merged orb lying on the ground before her, she couldn't help but feel a sense of unease creeping over her. But before she could dwell on it further, a voice echoed through the chamber, breaking the silence like a thunderclap in the night. It was a voice that seemed to resonate from the very depths of the earth, ancient and powerful, yet tinged with a hint of warmth and familiarity. As Aika stood in the dim chamber, her mind reeling from the surreal events that had just transpired, the voice echoed through the darkness once more. "Aika," it whispered, its tone gentle yet commanding. "You have been chosen as my new pet, my companion. Embrace your destiny, for great power lies within you." But as the words echoed in her mind, a new realization dawned upon Aika. Could it be that she had been chosen not as a hero, but as a mere servant, a companion? The thought sent a shiver down her spine, filling her with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. As the words reverberated in her mind, Aika's confusion deepened. How could this be? Why would the entity refer to her as a pet? Did it not recognize that she was human, that the dynamic was supposed to be the other way around? These questions swirled in her thoughts, mingling with a sense of disbelief and incredulity. Her heart raced as she grappled with the implications of being labeled as a pet. Was she not more than that? Was she not a person with her own thoughts, desires, and dreams? The idea of being reduced to a mere servant filled her with a mix of indignation and unease. But amidst her uncertainty, a glimmer of hope flickered in her heart. Perhaps there was more to this bond than met the eye. Perhaps the entity saw her not as a subordinate, but as an equal, a friend. The notion warmed her, easing some of the apprehension that had taken hold of her. With a deep breath, Aika resolved to confront the entity, to seek answers to the questions that gnawed at her mind. Whatever lay ahead, she knew that she would face it with courage and determination, ready to uncover the truth behind this enigmatic bond.